Hey guys, Nike here. Let's talk End of Dragons Elite Spec for the Ranger. Ranger, in my opinion, has quite a few bases already covered with the Druid and the Soul Beast, and the big missing piece in the Ranger puzzle is a spec that is purpose-built from the ground up to be good in World versus World, as Ranger is, by far, the worst class in medium and large-scale World v World. Luckily, I have some ideas on how we can make that work, because it seems like by far the likeliest option for ANET to go with. First, let's turn our view back to Guild Wars 1 factions and the Luxon and Kurzik factions of Guild Wars 1 factions. A sub-theme to these factions is Siege. Siege in Guild Wars 1 wasn't a very robust concept, but what it amounted to was Luxons with cannon-bearing siege turtles and Kurziks with giant siege suits. These things kind of sound like stuff people would use and want in World v World a little bit, don't they? So I could envision a Ranger spec where instead of using the normal selection of pets, you have the option to either use the Kurzik suit or the siege turtle. In exchange for a limited selection of pets, these two Luxon or Kurzik pets would make up for it in power and having a significantly greater number of skills. They would each have their own strength, one being melee, the other being ranged, and perhaps one is better at single target, one is better at AoE. Also, they would have skills that are applicable in World v World, like AoE buffing and or territorial control in addition to AoE damage. Of course, these things would also have quite a few uses in PvP and PvE, and of course that's what we want because you want the specs to be good, or at least usable in every game mode. As far as weapons go, I would suggest that Ranger should get Rifle for this spec. This might sound odd at first, but if you follow the theme of like an ex-Luxon or ex-Kurzik nomad refugee survivor who hunts in the wastelands outside of Imperial control in Cantha, a rifle would make sense for a hunter class, especially with the sort of interpretation that Cantha's technology has increased slightly as it has in Central Tyria in the last 250 years, or perhaps even more, in which case rifle would make even more sense. The rifle would be very cool because you could either have direct damage skills for single target, or sort of like an indirect fire mode where he shoots up in the air and it comes back down as an AoE. That sort of stuff is really cool. And having that versatility would be super interesting and make the spec quite powerful. For a large sort of group stuff, the way that Staff Ellie is good in World v World. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on Ranger, relatively brief. If I can sum up, I would say that ANET is quite likely to design the Ranger spec with World v World in mind first, and to me that means AoE and territorial denial. Since World v World is Siege, and Siege was a major theme in Guild Wars factions with the Luxons and Kurzik, I think there are a lot of ways to integrate these ideas into a very satisfying spec for the Ranger. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below and what you hope to see from the Ranger spec in Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons.